Hey, it's David Levin. Today I want to share a system with you I use just to make a huge difference in my days and really in how I feel at the end of my days. You know, one of the most frustrating things for me is when I can have one of those days where I'm working pretty hard, but I get to the end of the day and I somehow feel farther behind and more stressed out than when I started. So this is what I do to keep that from happening. It's something I call my perfect day system. Just a simple thing I developed for myself. And I didn't invent it. I've heard variations on it from different places. This is just the version I developed for myself, and it's really great. So here's what it is. First, you sit down and you just ask yourself, what would a perfect day look like for you? You know, if you could design the ideal day where you're working on all the various things you want to work on, what would that look like? So for me, I work at home, I'm self-employed, so I have a lot of control over my day, so mine looks like this. I get into my office around 8:30, and I spend about 30 minutes just kind of checking in, email, social, just taking a look at the day. 9 o'clock, I shut off the phone and the email, and I've got a 90-minute block of time just for creative work, whatever the main creative project is that needs to happen that day. Usually it's writing of some kind, a new article, program, marketing material, stuff like that. So that goes till 10:30. 10:30, I shift gears and work on other work-related to-dos, miscellaneous tasks. There's always a ton of those to be done. They don't take as much time, but they need to get done. So that's 10:30 to 11:30. 11:30, I take a break and go for a run or a walk if I can, maybe do some personal errands in there. 12:30, I have lunch and some study, check in with email. Again, study, I've almost always got some sort of a program I've invested in that I'm working through, so that's part of that time also. 2 o'clock, 2 to 3:30, I have another 90-minute creative block, so I have 2 of those during my day. 3:30, I do some more tasks again, check in with email, sort of wrap the day up and plan for the next day. And by 4:30, I'm done. That's the end of my workday. So that's what my ideal day looks like. Yours will be different, but that's the general idea. You look at everything you wish you could work on, what you'd like to work on throughout a perfect day, and you just write it out, just like you're making appointments with yourself throughout the day. You put it on your calendar, and you keep it where you can see it so you can check in with it as you go through your day. When I first started out with this, I had it exactly the way I just showed it to you. I had actual appointments on my Mac calendar, and I could see them there, and then once a week I'd have to manually move them all forward to the next week so I could see them again, and that ended up being way too tedious and annoying. So what I finally did was I took a screenshot of that ideal day, and I just sit it on my desktop now, and I can just take a look at it as I go through my day. So that's the system. Pretty simple, but there are also some fairly potent insights kind of underneath that are worth pointing out. The first is these 90-minute creative blocks. These are a really big deal. If you want to do your best work, you need about that much time to get down into the good stuff. So those are really critical if you can make those happen, even if it's just one a day for you. If you can do that, turn everything else off, do 90 minutes on one thing, you'll see a huge difference from that. The second is the email. You'll notice that there were assigned times throughout the day where I was going to check email and social stuff. It wasn't just coming in, responding to them whenever they came in at random. That's another huge, huge thing. One of the best things you can do for yourself is start to batch when you work on those. So try and work that in if at all possible. The third thing is just kind of the idea of balance. You hear a lot of talk about balance. How can we have more balance in our lives? Well, this is how you do it. You write it in. Really, it's about that simple. You look at my ideal day, for example. I've got some of everything I want to do. Personal, work, big work, little work, family, it's all in there. So anyway, that is the perfect day system. Pretty simple. Got some pretty potent kind of insights underneath it. I think you'll love it. Now, to be totally honest, I don't do this every day. Okay? I don't even do it most of the days. The thing about my life is that I tend to be on some sort of creative deadline a lot of the time. I got some sort of a writing project needs to be done. And when that's the case, the system just sort of goes out the window, right? I just kind of focus on that and just do that, that. But even that is a perfect illustration of why this is so important. When I do that, when I just go and go on the creative thing, you know, I get more done on that, of course, and that's good because it needs to get done, and there's a lot of stress associated with it, so that's good. But that is what gets me to the end of the day, feeling like I'm farther behind and more stressed out. Excuse me. It turns out this is the way of working that causes that feeling. When I just go on one thing, all the to-dos get set aside, and they pile up, and they stress me out. All the things I do for myself get set aside, and so I don't get that recharge and that refresh I need. So yeah, you know, I get more done on the one thing, but it feels terrible. On the other hand, when I follow the system, and every time I do it, it feels incredible. I'm doing all these various things. I'm getting the good creative work done, getting the other stuff done, doing things for myself. I got family time in there. It just feels incredibly satisfying. So you get to the end of the day, and instead of that farther behind feeling, I really do feel like, man, that was a great day. So that is the perfect day system. And that's what it feels like when you use it. So I hope I've laid that out clearly enough that you can, you know, make a version of it for yourself, because I think you just really love the difference it makes for you. It's really incredible. So the question for today has to do with your days. And here it is. If you could snap your fingers like that and instantly change one thing about your days, what would it be? You know, what's the one thing you really would love to change right away? So let me know what your answer is for that in the comments. And if you're not on my site, davidlevin.com, while you're watching this, come on over. You can, you know, put in your comments there, ask any questions about the system, and also get your name on the email list so I can let you know when new videos come out. All right, the perfect day system. Enjoy. I'll see you next time.